Oh, hey, this is Tim from the Jefferson County Jural Assembly. I want to be reading a few things here for you today. the, um, there's an issue at hand that I don't know that most people recognize as a problem. At the founding, or before the Civil War, there were 37 states in the states of America. The states that were added to the states of America after the Civil War were never brought in by the actual national people or the national unincorporated government. They were instead given uh, citizenship through the corporation. Now, they were promised statehood, but because there was no national Congress in session, these states are called states in waiting, and they could never actually be enrolled. But instead, the territorial United States Congress, which is the de facto Congress, gave state land trusts and named them after the actual states, but they are still a part of the incorporated government. So we really need to get our de jure grand juries in place in these 37 states. We need to create our Continental Congress, and we must have 30 out of 37 of those states on board. Right now, there's only about 21 on board, so we need 9 more. Every county in every state needs to start their jural assemblies and get them started. Okay, so I want to move on a little bit. Let me put these down. There's something, four things I want to mention here. When it comes to practicing law, a man on the land who is national, someone who has done their paperwork and put their names back on the land, I want to go ahead and read through some of these rulings. The practice of law cannot be licensed by any state. That's Shawar versus Board of Examiners, 1925. The practice of law is an occupation of common right. That's an Oklahoma Court, Title 12, Section of 2017. If an infant or incompetent person does not have a duly appointed representative, he may sue by his next friend, that would be kin as well, and or by guardian, ad litem. That was the Brotherhood of Trained Men versus Virginia State Bar. There are 2 more here. The litigants may be assigned by unlicensed laymen during the litigants may be assisted, that makes more sense, by unlicensed laymen during judicial proceedings. That's the NAACP versus Button. And you'll find that also under Johnson versus Avery, 89, 747, 1969. And lastly, members of groups who are competent non-lawyers can assist other members of the group achieve the goals of the group in court without being charged with unauthorized practice of law. So, when you work with another person or when you work as yourself, you are allowed to work as a private attorney or as counsel for yourself. That's what the Fifth Amendment says. As well, the First Amendment states that we have the right to contract or not to contract. So I have the right, being that when you go into court, you need to establish standing, status, and agency. Where your standing is, you're supposed to be there. Your status is, yes, I'm the guy who is representing myself. All right. So whenever you move into court, understand that you do not have to have a license to go into court. All right. So I wanted to talk about bankers today and about the fraud that bankers uh, perpetrate against the nationals or the American sovereign nationals. And but first, I wanted to mention again dog Latin, because dog Latin is one of the things that they use to usurp their authority, which is a fraud. All right, so quickly, I'm going to go ahead and read through this dog Latin again. Dog Latin, which is Babel text of Babylon, Roman Empire, American Sign Language, language of the debtor, glossa. Was created by Justinian in 530 to 560 AD, the Roman courts, according to Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, and Article 11, 147 of the Chicago Manual of Styles, 16th edition, foreign languages. This language must be licensed, and it's licensed out of the Vatican through the City of London, through the Bar Association, to be able to use this language. So it's a deceptive, all capitalized letter language. Now, I'm going to explain this real quick. You have a sentence in English. I am a man. Real simple. I am a man. Well, in their language, in Latin, it would be all capitalized with dashes in between. I am a man. But it would be written in Latin. But it would be basically text. I am a man with dashes in between, all capital letters. That's Latin. Dog Latin is a mixture of English and Latin, which grammatically cannot exist. And what they do is they'll write the I am, a man, and it would be I period, am period, a period, man period, if you were to make that into English. And that makes no sense. So that grammatically does not work. I think I have that written here somewhere. Yes, okay. So my name, Tim Allen Harmon, Tim period, Allen period, Harmon period, makes no sense in the English. But that's what they write on the paperwork when they're writing in all capital letters. This is called dog Latin. It is a deceitful declination and a debased meaning for the illiterate. So they're actually calling you illiterate. So when you go into court, you just simply tell them, I don't understand this all capitalized language because it's not English. And that causes what is called an estoppel. And that estoppel means they either have to explain the fraud of this language or they're going to throw you out of court. Now remember, you are representing yourself. You never take an attorney into court with this stuff because an attorney means you are incompetent. And the attorney always works for a judge. So like I said before, when I was reading through the first part, you represent yourself. You're allowed to do that at common law as a man. You always are a man. You're not a U.S. citizen. You're not a taxpayer. You're not a resident of a state. You are a man or a woman. A man with a womb. That's all. You're a man. So, the banksters use this language, and it is a fraud. Why am I saying this? Because they are claiming that you are a foreign citizen trust. All capitalized letters means that you are a foreign citizen trust, and you are in Puerto Rico. You're in Puerto Rico. That's what they're telling you. So by doing that, it's a fraud. And when the bankers do this, the reason I'm telling you this is because whenever I write letters to the bank, I tell them All my money is private money. It's not corporate money. And the names that they use are not, I am not incorporated. So I send them all my paperwork. I send them the same paperwork I've been talking about all along, that you have to do your deeds and put them on the land. And by doing that, it makes them responsible for anytime anyone wants to touch that money other than myself. If the government were to try to take that money, they would be responsible to pay me back, not the government, the bank. So that's why I'm talking about this. Now, how does that work? Why does that work? Well, remember, there are three constitutions. The Constitution for the United States of America is the land jurisdiction, our national government. The Constitution of the United States of America is the sea jurisdiction, territorial government. The third Constitution is one in all capitalized letters. That's the jurisdiction of the air. That's under the trusts that I'm talking about that the Vatican holds. And that's called the municipal government. Now, the second and the third are both federal governments. Now, federal means contract. The federal government is a contract government. They provide 19 essential services for us. Okay? And that's stated in Article 4 of all three constitutions. They are foreigners in respect to our union of states. It is a foreign government. So these foreign governments are rewriting your name fraudulently in all capital letters and telling the world that you are lost at sea and that that money that you put into the bank, that was a gift to Puerto Rico. I'm not kidding. That was a gift that you gave to Puerto Rico. And that's what they're doing. That's why I'm sending them my letters and telling them, no. I am a foreign sovereign according to the Foreign Sovereigns Act of 1976, Section 1605 and 1607. You can go to the website, Jefferson County Jural Assembly.org. All this information is on the website. So, I'm sending them my information. I'm a man at common law, domiciled on the soil of Pennsylvania, at the land jurisdiction. Whenever I set the record straight, and then I tell them, you are to hold all my money as real money, credit. I am the priority creditor, not a debtor. That name in all capital letters is a debtor, but I am the creditor. I spell my name without any capitals at all. I don't know if I have it written down here, but there are no capitals in my name. It's just Timothy Allen Harmon, no capitals. I don't have it written here, but it's real simple. When they start capitalizing your name, it becomes corporate. So, the United States, there are three governments, three constitutions. The government is the United States of America from 1776, land jurisdiction, unincorporated. And then you have the United States of America Territorial Corporation, which was bankrupted in 1863 and then remade over. And then they took the Municipal Corporation and made that out of the Territorial. And so these two corporations, which are British-backed corporations until 1933, and then it became a French company under the International Monetary Fund. So do your due diligence, find out what's going on, go and read the paperwork on the websites. There are lots of places you can go to figure out what's going on. But these bankers, you need to set them straight. You need to do your paperwork and set the bankers straight. Whatever bank you're dealing with, just send them a nice letter. Mine usually says something like, hi, this is a peaceful and friendly reminder that and then I continue. And that you, being you use dog Latin, being that you use these other formats that are fraud, are not acceptable. And then I make up facts because this should be an affidavit on top it should say affidavit, and then every affidavit has facts. So the fact is, I am a man at common law. The fact is, that I am, et cetera, et cetera. All those things that I mentioned. And the fact is that all of my monies are private. The fact is that I have real monies in the bank. They're supposed to be held as real monies, not debits. Okay? So, and the fact is, the only reason that anything would be done separate from my being on the land jurisdiction would be because of duress. You got to say that because they're thinking that you're something you're not. The only reason you would be something that you're not is because of the duress. So they are threatening you with fines, imprisonment, taxes, all those kinds of things. Read on. There is, I'm going to go ahead and read exactly what I am writing to the bank, just so that you clearly understand. All right, so remember I said this is an affidavit, and affidavits are facts. So I have several things going on. First, I'm spelling out the facts. Fact number one, the Federal Reserve monopolized note is a fraud. Fact number two, the use of dog Latin is a fraud. Fact number three, any private, in my case, Pennsylvanian's account, attached by you, telling them, to any Puerto Rican estate trust is a fraud. Fact D, until this fraud is straightened out across the globe, and it will soon be straightened out, we are participants under duress, as I already said. And I say, note, this is no excuse for fraud. I'm not letting anybody off the hook. Fact E, anybody committing fraud is commercially liable. That's what the law says. So I go on and I continue. Now, remember, I've said this many times, so I'm just going to read down through it exactly the way I have it written. I am Timothy Allen of the House of Harmon, and these are small letters. Timothy Allen, written in all small letters, of the House of Harmon, all small letters. A man, domiciled on the soil of Pennsylvania, at the political jurisdiction of the land, priority creditor and subrogee, and holder in due course of all derivatives of my names. At American common law, and founder of the Jefferson County Jural Assembly, Jefferson County Common Law Grand Jury, and then I give them my websites. And I say, first in time is first in line. And then I continue. You are required to hold my accounts as follows. The facts are. Fact is my accounts are private only. Fact number two. Fact is my accounts are not to use glossa, dog Latin, or American Sign Language, which is fraud. Fact number three. Fact is my accounts are not incorporated. As I am not incorporated, I am a living man. And then I have a note, and I wanted to take special thought about what I'm writing here. Note, I am requesting for your own protection that you remove all numbers from my accounts affiliated with any incorporated Ponzi scheme, which includes driver's license, social security numbers, zip codes, etc. These numbers belong to their creators and cannot be attached to my private accounts except by fraud. I'm going to come back to this. Number four, fact is my address is, and I give them my address. I copyrighted an address, and then I give them in care of address. So there's two addresses here. My first address, as I explained on another video, is the address that I made up myself. You can make up your own address to your own property. You don't have to listen to whatever they tell you because they're making it up to begin with. Living where I live right now, we have had three or four, one, two, three, four different addresses in 50 years. They change the address whenever they want to, and I made my own address. So my address is, you can, let me make this up again. 99 Harmon, what would it be? Lane. Harmon Lane. 99, number 99 Harmon Lane. Where am I at? Where am I? I am actually in a village. So there's 14 houses in this village, or 20 houses, but it's a village. So I'm saying this village in Pennsylvania. Okay, so 99 Harmon Lane in the village of in Pennsylvania. And I copyright that address so nobody else can use it. And it's real simple. Just put the copyright signal in front of it and start using that puppy. Grandfather it in. And then the second address is the 911 address. And that's always in care of, because that's not my address. That's their address. All right. So fact number 5 here. Fact is, my account holds real monies or living credits. Okay. So let's go back to number 3, where I said, I'm telling them that they need to remove the numbers from all of the accounts that are affiliated with this Ponzi scheme, which the government created and the bankers created. Okay? So the Social Security number has to come off of my accounts. Driver's license has to come off my accounts. Zip codes come off of my accounts, because all of those numbers belong to whoever created them. Okay, so driver's license number belongs to the state that created it. It's not my number. A Social Security number, you look on a Social Security card, it'll tell you, this Social Security number belongs to the Social Security Administration. It's not my number. It doesn't belong to me. I have nothing to do with this number. It's an administrative number that they use, not me. It's not my number. I cannot claim it. So when somebody tries to make you claim that thing, that's a fraud. It would be a fraud for me to claim those numbers. Okay? So I hope that all of this enlightens you. And I hope that you're having fun with this, because you should be having fun with it. This is fun. It's not something to be afraid of. It's something that we understand. We learn to understand it. So watching these videos should help you learn to understand, and you should learn that this is fun. And if you have any more questions, again, go to Jefferson County Jural Assembly.org. And as always, I hope that you guys have a wonderful day.